about the team. It's not about yourself, and a lot of guys on this team need to realize that.
If Drew Doughty spoke about me in that way and I knew he was adding me, I would never, ever leave my house again.
This is Sportscentre.
Hey, I'm Julia Teixeira, and the Edmonton Oilers put their streak on the line once again tonight. And this time, they host the Hawks. Now, rather than repeat every stat we spoke about earlier in the week, let's try and predict how long this streak will last, and see if the Oilers could actually catch the Canucks for first in the conference. Now, the last one might seem wild to some, because with a quick look at the standings, you can see the Canucks are up 14 points on Edmonton. But the Oilers do have 5 games in hand, which means they've got the ability to make up 10 of those points just right there. And with the way they're playing right now, it doesn't feel that far out of the question. And that would also require Vancouver to lose a little as well, which they haven't really been doing either. But Edmonton can only control what they could control, which they've been doing over this ridiculous win streak. But one thing has to be for sure. It can't end against a disheveled Chicago team tonight. Can it? On the road against teams that are currently in a playoff spot, Chicago is just 4-12 on the season. But teams in a playoff spot is kind of where the streak gets interesting. Because after Chicago, the Oilers have 7 of their next 12 games against teams that are currently in a playoff spot. So they're really getting the best of the bunch. And it starts Saturday against the Preds. Now, just to give a little glance at some of the stats we looked at earlier in the week, it isn't just about scoring goals for this team, as they're playing amazing in their own end. Before the streak, they allowed 3 or more goals 19 times, and in the last 14, they've allowed 3 or more only twice. If the Oilers have learned to play defense, then they are the scariest team in the league. Stuart Skinner's numbers are incredible right now. He's got a .950 save percentage since the coaching change, and I think that's largely because the team is defending really well in front of him. To the NFL, and after almost 3 weeks, one of the biggest head coaching dominoes has fallen, as Jim Harbaugh has been announced as the new Chargers head coach. And props to the Chargers social media team for immediately changing their profile picture to this. Harbaugh comes in fresh off a natty win with Michigan, but let's dive deeper into his NFL resume, because it's been a while since we've seen this guy on an NFL sideline. For starters, Harbaugh actually ended his playing career with the Chargers, playing 17 games over his final 2 seasons in San Diego. But as a coach, he was one of the best this league has ever seen. In 4 years in San Francisco, he went 44-19-1. Good for the 5th best winning percentage in NFL history. He made the playoffs 3 of 4 seasons, each with an NFC Championship game appearance, making the Super Bowl once, a loss to his brother John and the Ravens. And he never once had a losing season. From there, he spent 9 years in Michigan, and look at that ridiculous winning percentage, all culminating in this past season, when he went a perfect 15-0 and won the national championship. And the head coaching moves aren't done there, as just a couple hours ago, we learned the Panthers will be hiring Bucs offensive coordinator Dave Canales as their new head coach. Before rejuvenating Baker Mayfield's career, Canales was the QB coach and passing game coordinator with Seattle from 2018 to 2022. So of the original 8 head coaching openings, 5 have now been filled, with 3 remaining vacant, as the Commanders, Falcons, and Seahawks are still looking for a head coach. Time now for my favorite segment and yours, Why We Love Sports Today.
Why we love sports today.
And let's watch this one more time because it is just too good. Oh, ouch, that one looked like it hurt. And here we go. Okay, and he ran into, I was really obsessed with the idea of being a high jumper when I was in the 6th grade. At that time, I was probably like 4'9", and I was in my backyard trying to jump over a chicken fence. I did hurt myself. All right, let's cross the pond for this next one, because we love these Euro basketball highlights when the crowd looks like a soccer stadium. But Aris BC in Greece really takes it to the next level. Wow. Look at it. I love when crowds look like they're all moving together. These are professional fans. Also, side note, no one in this video looks as excited as Trudeau did at the PWHL game last night. Now joined by our gambling guy, Wes Cheng. How's it going, Wes?
What's happening, Julia?
All right, Wes, a lot of weird stuff going on in the NBA right now. Following last night's loss to the Grizz, Eric Spoelstra said, "It's one of those times in the NBA season that's, quote, a little bit funky." How are you navigating these dog days of the NBA season?
The real answer, I'm just a bit more selective this month. Now, the trade deadline's 2 weeks away. I think that's going to be a good opportunity to crank it back up. There's going to be a lot of roster turnover, a little bit more variance. That's going to be a good spot that you can potentially exploit. But between then and now, it's the same fundamentals. Trying to take advantage of the injury situations. looking for changes in rotation minutes, guys getting more or less minutes. And then matchups, as always, trying to find defenses that are extremely bad or on the flip side, playing exceptionally well where you want to take some unders.
All right, Wes, give us your best bet for tonight.
I'm digging deep here, but it relates back to my previous answer. I like Kevin Huerter to get over 10.5 points tonight, and this is about a change in rotation minutes. He opened the season as a starter, ended up in Coach Mike Brown's doghouse, was benched for a good chunk of the season in December and January. He's back into the starting lineup, and over these past 5 games where he's been healthy, he's averaging just under 32 minutes and 16 points per game. He gets a Golden State Warriors defense that has been very porous this season, especially from deep, which is where Huerter lives. The perception of Huerter is still very low, and at 10.5 points, I think it's a great number for him to go over.
Wes Cheng, a pleasure as always.
Thanks, Julia.
And that's all for today. I'll see you right back here tomorrow, 3 Eastern, noon Pacific. Happy Friday, Junior.